everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tori and this is Holy City Mystic. So, we got some transits coming up, y'all. The rest of this year, some next year, definitely 2026, we are going to have some things that a lot of people are going to look at as scary. And just like in 2020, 21, 22, there were some transits there where people were like freaking out, and society definitely reflected that with the different things that were going on. It was a lot of drastic changes, a lot of really scary things in the news, all that stuff. So depending on kind of your natal chart and different factors, those transits probably related to you in a different way, but they definitely touched every single person. So some people may have really benefited from it. Other people, they may have had to pivot in a way that they did not expect, and it changed a lot of things about their life. Well, we have more coming up. Just in August, we have the full moon T-square with Uranus. We have Saturn squaring Jupiter, Saturn squaring Mars, Venus-Saturn opposition, Sun-Uranus square, the list goes on. Not to mention a Mercury retrograde during the entire month. So it's easy to know just enough about astrology to be dangerous, where it's like, you know what the big players are, you know what squares are, you know what oppositions are. And so you look at a Saturn-Mars square and you're just like, I'm freaking out, like this, how bad is this gonna be, basically? There is one thing you can definitely look at to see how it is going to affect you, or if it really will at all, and that is your annual profection. So I'm gonna pop up a chart. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before, but you have to use whole sign when you're using this technique because it was developed for whole sign. Can use it with Placidus or Coke or something else, but it's really just not gonna work as well because it is a whole sign technique. So basically, whatever age you are, it is going to correspond to a house of focus. So if you are 16 years old, you are going to have a 5th house focus year. If you are 67 years old, you are going to have an 8th house focus year. And so when you look at that house, you're going to look at two things as a part of that house. Number one, what planets are contained within that house. So say you're looking at your 9th house. It is Gemini and you have Mars in your 9th house. So you're going to look at any transits to your natal Mars, and also any transits that Mars makes in the sky. You're also going to look at Mercury because Mercury is the ruler of your 9th house. So you're going to look at Mercury transits in the sky and also any major transits to your natal Mercury. There is a lot of information on how to use this technique. That was a very basic overview. I'll link some stuff below. I'm not sure if the Astrology podcast ever did a class on this, but they probably did. I'm going to look it up and see if I can find that for you guys if they have. But if not, I'll link some things below where you can find out more information on how to use this technique. Basically, those are going to be your major transits of the year. Everything else is, while it might affect you, it's not going to be really a major focal point for you. And how many of us have, gotten our hopes up or gotten really scared about a transit and then it came and it left and nothing really happened? And so just kind of remember that going forward. Also, if everything is coming together in such a way that it looks like a lot of stuff is going to go down and then a lot of stuff does go down, remember you picked this. Remember this is part of your soul's growth. It's not going to last forever. It might change things in a way that ripples on forever. However, you will find joy again. You will find stability again. You will come to appreciate whatever goes down because it makes you the person that you become. So give yourself grace as you go forward. Make sure you're staying grounded. Make sure you're doing things for yourself every single day, whether it's nurturing your IC or nurturing your moon. Just making sure you have some kind of base, some kind of home base. So whether it's meditation or, cooking mindfully or an art expression or talking to your favorite people or something like that, just make sure that you are doing everything you can for your current mental health. Now, I want to tell you guys about a really, really crazy transit that I had when I was 26. So for me, it was a 3rd house profection year. My 3rd house is Capricorn, so it's ruled by Saturn. And then I also have Saturn within the 3rd house, as well as Uranus and Neptune. So all of those major transits for me that year. It was the start of my Saturn return. The North Node conjoined my IC, and Pluto was crossing not only in Capricorn, not only contained in my 3rd house, which was my annual perfection of the year, but also conjoining my natal Saturn. So what the heck happened that year? Everything. Everything happened. I was diagnosed with lupus after, I believe, 3 years of being in a long-term flare. I had been symptomatic off and on since childhood. However, that I had been sick, like in chronic pain, low energy, bedridden for some of it for the previous 3 years. I had gotten so sick that I was in and out of the ER. Prior to getting that diagnosis, I had some very serious bouts of depression. I was bedridden. I was extremely thin and frail. I'm 5'11" and I was 118 pounds. I had zero fat on me anywhere. It was also the beginning of the end of my marriage. There were a lot of cracks in the foundation that happened during this time that moved that along, moved that storyline along. I was also getting treated by a primary care physician for my lupus, not a specialist. And so he actually prescribed me 100 milligrams of prednisone to slowly wean down off of that over the course of 6 weeks. And I stopped sleeping. In fact, I slept less than an hour a day for 10 days and went into a really intense psychotic state. I was hospitalized for 8 days in a psych ward. During that time, I not only lost time, I had some beliefs that I will never forget, had some experiences, some hallucinations, all these things while I was deeply in psychosis. They were looking at giving me the diagnosis of bipolar. They said they were going to watch me like a hawk for a while to see if it happened again. It did not, thankfully, and it hasn't happened since. So it really was attributed to just being overprescribed steroids. Over the course of the next couple years, when I had my full Saturn return, I went from being sick, diagnosed as infertile, completely bedridden, unemployed, obviously, I was extremely disabled. And then once Saturn left Capricorn, I had a son, I was divorced, I had a job that I was keeping, which that was another thing I was really worried about. I hadn't worked in so long due to my health that I was scared, even if I got a job, would I be able to keep it? Would I be able to keep up with it? And so now, this is 6 years later? Yeah, 6 years later. Everything that happened during that time, I'm grateful for. Every single part of that time has showed me what I needed to see, has developed me in such a way that I can use it now every single day. I'm now living in a state that I always wanted to live in. I'm in South Carolina. I am married to an absolutely wonderful man. I have stepkids in addition to my own kid. I have a great relationship with my ex-husband. We work very well together in the interest of our son. And now my primary focus in astrology is just to help people not be scared, because it didn't last forever. And what I took from it was so much greater than what I lost during it. Also, I am in full remission. My recent blood work has showed no lupus activity. Like, if someone were to take my blood right now with no medical history, they would see that I am perfectly healthy. There is absolutely nothing wrong with my blood. Whereas before, I just literally everything was wrong with me. And it was like a very clear autoimmune case. So chances are nothing's gonna happen to you specifically. But also, even if something does happen to you, it's not gonna last forever. It is meant to be. It was something that was always going to happen. It's something you really needed for your soul's development. And it's going to help others in the future. It's not just for you, it's everybody's transit. And so the things that you learn during this time, you don't even know who they're going to touch in the future or who you're going to help and relate to because of these difficult things. So try to look at the big picture. Try not to be scared. Things will come, things will go, transits will move. You'll have a year where just everything is up, and then you'll have another year where everything is down, but you're gonna keep going. There's gonna be more years. So I hope this helps. I hope you guys are doing okay, and take care.